Hello and welcome to Raju Notes channel, your pit stop for weekly current affairs updates. The updates tailor-made for students taking all kinds of competitive exams like UPSC, civils, defense and placement interviews. Please subscribe to the channel and stay updated every Sunday. The Government of India has notified significant revision to turnover and investment criteria for classifying MSMEs that will take effect from 1st April 2025. Micro, small and medium enterprises MSMEs with an investment up to 2.5 crore rupees will now be classified as micro enterprises from the previous threshold of 1 crore rupees. The turnover limit has been revised from 5 crore rupees to 10 crore rupees. Units with investment up to 25 crore rupees will be classified as small enterprises from the earlier 10 crore rupees. The turnover limit for such enterprises have been doubled from 50 crore rupees to 100 crore rupees. MSMEs with the investment up to 125 crore rupees will now be classified as medium enterprises from the earlier limit of 50 crore rupees. For medium enterprises, the turnover limit has been doubled to 500 crore rupees. India has sent humanitarian assistance to Botswana in the wake of floods in the country. External Affairs Ministry said in a social media post that the first tranche of around 10 tons of assistance comprising essential medicines, surgical supplies, mosquito nets and water purifiers were dispatched for Botswana. Meanwhile, humanitarian assistance has also been sent to Kiribati to help strengthen the healthcare system of the country. A consignment of 6 bedded container based dialysis units departed from Mundra port for Tarawa, Kibrati on 22nd of March. United States President Donald Trump has announced that the aviation giant Boeing will build the next generation fighter jet F-47 for the American Air Force. Talking to media in presence of the Defense Secretary Peter Hegseth at the Oval Office, President Trump said F-47s will be the most advanced, capable and lethal aircraft ever built. He said United States will sell a toned down version of the aircraft to certain allies. The announcement is seen as a major blow to Lockheed Martin, Boeing's main competitor and maker of the high profile F-35 and F-22 Raptor fighter jets. Once made available, the F-47s are expected to replace Raptors in combined aerial missions alongside drones. Media reports say F-47s are part of America's next generation air dominance NGAD effort, which intends to succeed the F-22 and be a linchpin for collaborative combat aircraft CCA. NGAD envisions sixth generation fighter support by sophisticated robotic wingman to primarily rival Chinese fighter aircraft in the Indo Pacific and counter Russian challenges as well. The 33rd meeting of the Working Mechanism for Consultations and Coordination on India China Border Affairs WMCC was held in Beijing, China last week. In a statement, the Minister of External Affairs said that the meeting comprehensively reviewed the situation along the line of actual control in India and China border areas. The ministry said the two sides also agreed to maintain strengthening relevant diplomatic and military mechanisms towards this end. They also exchanged views on the early resumption of cross border cooperation and exchanges, including on trans border rivers and Kailash Mansarovar Yatra. Both sides also agreed to work together to make substantial preparations for the next meeting of the special representatives, which will be held in India later this year. The Indian delegation leader also paid a courtesy call on Assistant Foreign Minister Hong Lee. The international sports governing body, World Athletics, has approved the introduction of mandatory cheek swabbing to determine an athlete's gender. The organization's president, Sebastian Coe, said a decision was made to doggedly protect the female category in the sport. Taking to reports, In Ninjiang, China, this week, Mr. Ko said the move aims to pave the way for providing confidence and maintaining that absolute focus on the integrity of competition. As per media reports, World Athletics' intention is to have the testing in place for athletics wanting to compete in the female category at the World Championship to be held in Tokyo from the 13th to 21st of September this year. A World Athletics Working Group on Gender Diverse Athletes said in February that the required test will be for the SRY gene and, if required, testosterone levels. This will be taken through a cheek swab with any necessary follow up or via dry blood spot analysis. The SRY gene is almost always on the Y chromosome, which plays a crucial role in determining male sex characteristics. The Parliament has passed the Disaster Management Amendment Bill 2024 with Rajya Sabha approving it this week. The Lok Sabha had passed it in December last year. The bill amends the Disaster Management Act 2005 and intends to strengthen the efficient working of the National Disaster Management Authority (NDMA) and the State Disaster Management Authority (SDMA). The bill empowers the NDMA and the SDMA to prepare the disaster plan at the national and a state level instead of National Executive Committee and the State Executive Committee. The bill also empowers the state government to constitute a separate urban disaster management authority for state capitals and cities with a municipal corporation. The bill will provide for the creation of a disaster database at the national and state levels. The Home Minister said that from manual monitoring, the government wants to move towards AI based real time monitoring. He said that through the bill, it wants to move from a government led response to a multidimensional response in which the society and citizens are involved. Union Home and Cooperation Minister Amit Shah has announced that the government will launch the Sahakar Taxi, a cooperative run ride hailing service modeled after Uber and Ola. Speaking during a debate in the Lok Sabha, Mr. Shah said the initiative is in line with Sahakar Se Samriddhi, prosperity through cooperatives. He mentioned that in a very few months, a very large cooperative taxi service will be started in which the registration of two wheelers, taxi, rickshaw, and four wheelers will be possible, and the profit will directly go to the driver. Mr. Shah emphasized that Sahakar Se Samriddhi is not just a slogan, and the Ministry of Cooperation has worked day and night over the past 3.5 years to realize it. He also stated that a cooperative insurance company is soon going to be formed, which will handle insurance within the cooperative system of the country. The United States has halted its contribution to the World Trade Organization WTO as part of a broader effort by President Donald Trump's administration to cut government spending. The move is in line with Trump's America First economic policies, which have led to reduced US enlargement with global institutions. His administration has previously withdrawn from World Health Organization WHO and reduced funding for other international organizations. The WTO had an annual budget of 205 million Swiss francs in 2024, with the US responsible for about 11%. However, at a WTO budget meeting held on March 4th, a US delegate stated that payment for 2024 and 2025 budgets were on hold, pending a review of contributions to international organizations. The United States has not provided a timeline for when a decision will be made. In China, Chief Advisor of Interim Government of Bangladesh, Professor Muhammad Yunus, held bilateral talks with the Chinese President Xi Jinping in Beijing. During the meeting at the Great Hall of the People, they discussed issues relating to bilateral interest. Professor Yunus also participated in an investment dialogue with the Chinese business leaders aiming to convince Chinese investors to invest in the marketing sector of Bangladesh. Mr. Yunus left for China on 26th of March on a 4-day official visit with an aim of strengthening the relationships between Bangladesh and China. According to the local media reports, on the second day of his visit to China, Chief Advisor Muhammad Yunus secured a commitment for Bangladesh to enjoy duty free and quota free access to the Chinese market until 2028. He also discussed relocating Chinese manufacturing plants to Bangladesh. The Indian Space Research Organization ISRO has completed the rolling experiment as part of its space docking experiment SPARDEX mission. Confirming this, ISRO chairman V. Narayanan said that ISRO will need to dock in various conditions, some of which will be attempted as part of the current mission. The rolling or rotating experiment involves circumnavigation of one of the satellites to verify control over satellite maneuvering. The experiment will also help ISRO understand what it takes to bring an object to a desired spot from different orientations for docking. It will also help ISRO learn whether docking could be done vertically and so on. This experiment, crucial for future missions like Chandrayaan 4, will provide valuable data and help ISRO validate multiple software and ground station controls. The Lok Sabha has passed the Immigration and Foreigner Bill 2025. The bill is intended to modernize the immigration law and it has provisions to confer upon the central government certain powers with regards to passport, travel documents, visa, and registration. The legislation has been brought to avoid multiplicity and overlapping of laws. Replying to a debate on the bill, Home Minister Amit Shah said that India has a long history of welcoming and protecting immigrants. He said that due to past invasions, many Persian refugees who migrated to India were safe. He said, with the Citizenship Amendment Act, six persecuted communities are now living safely in India. The Home Minister said that people who come to India to contribute to the country's economic growth are always welcomed. He said that individuals coming to India not for shelter but with selfish motives have also increased. Mr. Shah said that whether it is the Rohingyas or Bangladeshis, if they are coming to disrupt peace, strict action will be taken. He said that immigration is not an isolated issue. The Home Minister said that for the security of the country, the government must know who is entering the country, for how long, and for what reasons. The Ministry of Defence this week inked a 2,500 crore rupees contract for procurement of the Nag missile system NAMIS, an anti-tank weapon platform, and 5,000 light vehicles. The ministry in a statement said that the procurement of NAMIS and light vehicles will enhance indigenization and national defense equipment manufacturing capabilities. These contracts under the Indian indigenously designed, developed, and manufactured categories were inked in the presence of Defense Secretary Rajesh Kumar Singh in New Delhi. NAMIS Tract is one of the most sophisticated anti-tank weapon system against enemy armor with a fire and forget anti-tank missile and sighting system for enhanced firepower and lethality. It marks a significant milestone in the modernization of anti-tank capability of a mechanized infantry, enhancing the Indian Army operational readiness across varied spectrum of operations. The light vehicles are designed as per the contemporary vehicle technology with an enhanced engine power to cater a payload of 800 kilograms. They will provide mobility to the armed forces in all types of terrain and operational conditions. In a significant boost to the indigenous platform, the Ministry of Defence MOD has signed two contracts with Hindustan Aeronauticals Limited HAL for supply of 156 light combat helicopters LCH Prachand, along with training and other associated equipment worth rupees 62,700 crores excluding taxes. The first contract is for the supply of 66 LCHs to the Indian Air Force, and the second one is supply of 90 LCHs to the Indian Army. The supply of these helicopters shall commence from the third year and will be spread over next 5 years. The contracts will enhance the combat capability of armed forces at high altitudes. LCH is India's first indigenous designed and developed combat helicopter having a capability of operating at an altitude of over 5,000 meters. This helicopter has a large number of components designed and manufactured in India and is planned to achieve an overall indigenous content of over 65% during the execution of this procurement. This will involve over 250 domestic companies, mostly MSMEs, and will generate over 8,500 direct and indirect jobs. The cabinet approved the inclusion of Bihar's Kosi Mekhi intrastate link project under the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana Accelerated Irrigation Benefit Program, also known as PMKSY AIBP, to enhance irrigation and flood management in the region. Briefing media in New Delhi, Information and Broadcasting Minister Ashwini Vaishnav said the project will provide over 210,000 hectares additional annual irrigation in Kharif season in Araria, Purnia, Kishanganj, and Katihar districts of Bihar. The government has approved central support for 3,652 crore rupees to Bihar for completion of the project by March 2029 with an estimated cost of rupees 6,282 crore rupees. Mr. Vaishnav also informed that the government has approved construction of four-lane greenfield and brownfield Patna Ara Sasaram corridor having the length of 120.10 kilometers in Bihar. He said the project will be developed on hybrid annuity mode at a total capital cost of 3,712 crore rupees. The minister said this project will give a boost to infrastructure development by generating 48 lakh man days employment. India has sent nearly 15 tons of relief material to Myanmar following yesterday's earthquake, with an Indian Air Force C 130J aircraft transporting the aid from Hindon Air Force Station. The relief package includes essential supplies such as tents, sleeping bags, blankets, ready to eat meals, and generator sets. Additionally, crucial medical supplies like paracetamol, antibiotics, syringes, gloves, and bandages are being dispatched to support those affected by disaster. A powerful earthquake rocked Myanmar and neighboring Thailand yesterday, destroying buildings, bridges, and a monastery. At least 144 people were killed in Myanmar. At least 10 dead in the Thai capital Bangkok, where the high rise under construction building collapsed. A high level committee under the chairmanship of Union Home Minister Amit Shah has approved projects over 1,604 crore rupees for five states under the scheme for the expansion of modernization of fire services. These states are Bihar, Gujarat, Jharkhand, Maharashtra, and Kerala. The committee also approved over 555 crore rupees for Sikkim for recovery and reconstruction needed arising from the devastating glacial lake outburst flood in the state during the October 2023. The Ministry of Home Affairs said that the government has taken several initiatives to ensure effective management of disasters in the country. The central government has released over 19,000 crore rupees to 28 states under the State Disaster Response Fund and over 3,229 crore rupees to 16 states under the State Disaster Mitigation Fund during the current financial year. The Indian Ports Bill 2025 was introduced in Lok Sabha this Saturday. The legislation seeks to consolidate the law relating to ports, promote integrated port development, facilitate ease of doing business, and ensure the optimum utilization of India's coastline. It is also intended to establish and empower state maritime boards for effective management of ports other than major ports, as well as establishing the Maritime State Development Council for fostering structured growth and development of the port sector. The bill is aimed to providing for the management of pollution, disaster emergencies, security, safety, navigation, and data at ports. Introducing the bill, Union Ports, Shipping and Waterways Minister Sarbananda Sonowal said it provides for adjudicatory mechanism for the redressal of port-related disputes. Earlier, opposing the introduction of the bill, K. Radhakrishnan of CPIM alleged that the legislation undermines the federal structure of the country and it will centralize control over ports. Saugata Roy of TMC also opposed the introduction of the bill.
Well, that's all, friends, for this week's updates. See you soon next Sunday on the same channel. Till then, take care. Bye bye.